Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video we will launch our AWS Redis cache cluster. So let me just quickly log on to the portal and take it from there. I am logged on to the portal, and under services I'll mention Elastic Cache. There it goes. I'm sorry for the caps. All right. I have memcached, I have Redis, I have service update. So let me just quickly go on to the standalone Redis cache cluster. So under here, I'm going to click get started now. I'm going to select the Redis cluster engine as Redis, and please make sure that the cluster mode enabled scale out is not chosen. I'm going to uncheck it. In the Redis settings, type a name of the cluster. You can mention test cluster. Description, it's optional, and from the engine version compatibility list, you have to choose the Redis engine version you want to run on this cluster. Unless we have a specific reason to run an older version, we recommend that we should choose the latest version. So I'm going to go with the default one. This is the port number on which the node accept the connections. So we'll have to go with the default port. The parameter group, choose the parameter group you want to use with this cluster. Or you can choose create a new one. You can drop in here. Default is this. Or you can have the default. Or you can create a new parameter group and it will be shown here. Then the node type. Choose the node type that we want to use this for cluster. For this, let's go with the T2. It is R5.large. So I'm going to go for this. Cache T2 small. I'm going to save it. Under the number of replicas, choose the number of read replicas we want for this cluster. Because in this video we are creating a standalone cluster, we would for 0. Okay. So under advanced Redis settings, they are slightly different if you are creating a Redis cluster mode enabled replication group. So you can follow the Amazon documentation to create the cluster mode enabled. I will also try to do that. So in the subnet group, choose the subnet we want to apply to this cluster. It is creating a new on its own. So subnet group test subnet group, leave the description default VPC ID. It's going to pick up my VPC ID. Let me check the VPC ID first. I'm going to go with this VPC. And subnets, choose the subnet that you want to apply to this. I'm going to go with US East 1A. In the preferred availability zone, I'm going to select no preferences. In security, I have my default security group. And if you're going to seed your cluster with data from a .rdb file, then you can mention the path here of the S3 location. You want to enable automatic backups, you can do this. So because this is not a production, I'm going to uncheck this. And for maintenance window, I am sticking on to the no maintenance window. Let's create the cluster. It says it is creating. So that is how you create a Redis cache, AWS Elastic Cache cluster. After that, you can either let it complete it or you can cancel this operation. It depends upon you. So in this section, I wanted to cover the cluster. Okay, let's wait and let's first see how would you authorize the access on it. So I'm going to pause and come back when it is done. All the Elastic Cache cluster are designed to be accessed from an Amazon EC2 instance. As you can see, this is available. The most common scenario is to access the Elastic Cache cluster from an Amazon EC2 instance in the same Amazon VPC. So by default, network access to the cluster is limited to the user account that was used to launch it. Either in our case, it is my root account. Before we connect to a cluster from an EC2 instance, we must authorize EC2 instance to access the cluster. So we have launched our cluster in the VPC environment. So if you would see the subnet group, it is the test subnet group. That's how you're going to access it. So there is a dash test subnet group. This means that we have launched our cluster in an EC2 classic environment. And if there would be a default mention here, then we would have deployed in the EC2 VPC environment. This is what I wanted to cover in this section. I'll see you in the next video wherein we'll try to connect to this Redis Classic cluster. Thank you. Have a great day.